Hi guys, welcome to this session in Google Sheets. In this module, I want to show you how you can use data validation to protect your spreadsheets. So first of all, in this left-hand side of the screen, in cell A3, I have a code. Now this code can only be one of these codes. So I need to set up data validation in cell A3 that will only allow me to select these codes. So I'm on cell A3, going to the Data tab and selecting Data Validation. Now when that comes up, it's got different options in there. Select from a range, items, number, text, date, etc., etc. Lots of different options. I'm going to select from a range. Just going to highlight that range, which is this range. Click OK and save. And then that should give me that drop down list, and I can select a code, which would then allow me to do a Vlookup on this table. So I go do that equals Vlookup, look at that code, do a comma, select this table, do a comma, I want column 2 of this table, comma, 0, an exact match. Press enter on that, and then it comes back with washes. So if I select ABC, that should come back with nuts, and it does. And then I can do the same again for the cost, equals V lookup, open the bracket, look at the code, comma, look at this table. I could use name ranges as well for this. So I want column 3 this time, so it's a 3, comma 0 means exact match. Press enter, and that should come back with a price. So nuts is £1, ABD is bolts, they're £2. So that's one example. Now this table here, I have named that list courses, because you can also use a named range. So if I do another data validation list here for book type, let's make this a bit bigger. So I'll click on this one and use a different option. I'll use still data validation. This time same option, but I'm going to just put equals courses, which is the named range for this, and then save, and then I get the same sort of list. And then again I can use Vlookup to look at that and tell me the price. So I'll just do that one, equals Vlookup, open the bracket. So I'm looking at the code that I've just set up. I'm looking at this table, comma, and I want the third column of that table because that's the cost column, and then I want an exact match, 0. So that's £3, and then I can just do a little sum there, equals that number of copies times the price. Press enter on that one, I get £6. So I'll just put that back to 1 copy, select a different course, £3.50, 3 of them, £10.50. So that's data validation. Now if I type something that's not in that list, I'm getting a warning saying this is not valid or it's invalid, so I need to select a correct thing off this list. So that's a good thing that you get a warning coming up. Now there are some other options, so if I just colour this cell at the top so we can see where I'm doing it, so I'll do some of the other options and you can see how this works. Just get this to go yellow, same as this. Back to data validation. Some of the other options you've got in there is, instead of a list, we could have, for example, a number, and then you can say between 10 and 100 or whatever you want. I'll leave that as 10 and 100 and save that one. Oh. Type it in, and then type 12 should be okay. Type 1 should not be okay. It's got a warning, invalid number. Type 12, okay. If we go back into data validation, change that from number to text, for example, and then you've got these sort of options: contains, does not contain, equals to, value, So contains, let's have a T. Save. Type T. It's OK. Type ES. You get the little invalid message coming up again. So that's another one you can do. Now the date one, which is what I'm going to do next, is quite important really. Stops people entering dates that are not valid. So you might have a date in a fiscal year that has to be between wherever the start of the fiscal year for your company is and the end. It's stopping people typing dates, just random dates. If I put the 1st of the 1st 22 to the 31st of the 12th 22 and save that, then if I put today's date in there, which is control and semicolon, that should be okay. But if I put the 1st of the 1st 23, I get the invalid input box coming up straight away. So I've got to put a date in there that will work or will sit between the two parameters. So there's a data validation with a list where you're selecting a list. There's data validation with a list where you have used a named range, and then there's data validation with these other options that I've just shown you there. The last option I'll show you is basically you can type a list, so it doesn't exist anywhere. So that one would be data validation and not from a range but a list of items. It says there enter items separated by a comma, so 1, 2, 3 for example. If I type that in there, I need to click in there first. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, that's the list I want. Save, and then drop down 1, 2, 3. So you can create your own list. Obviously, if you type in text, you've got a problem, might have a problem with spelling there, so just be careful. It's probably best to select a list or use the named range like I've done there, because you can just do a spell check on that before you start the whole process. But that's just a quick look at data validation, and obviously had a quick look at Vlookup as well. I've got other videos about Vlookup on my channel that you can find if you just search for Vlookup. But hopefully this little video has been of use. Thank you for your time, and I'll catch you on the next one.